Good morning and happy Wednesday. I almost said Tuesday. Did you hear that? I kind of paused. I'm still, I don't know, maybe my week's going slower than everybody else's. Everybody else in class last night seemed to say it was going pretty quick, but I don't know. I feel like it's going at the perfect time. For me anyway. At least I remembered it was Wednesday before I said anything, so there's that. I had a really good class last night. I actually got a really good compliment, and you know what, guys? Maybe you should take this into account with your day today. So I got into my Zoom class with my motivational interviewing people last night, and as I was coming into class, the professor says, "Sonora, it's so nice to see you. I love signing on and seeing your beautiful smile." And I'll tell you what, I don't tell you that because I'm egotistical. I tell you that because it made my whole freaking day, you guys. How many times could you say something simple like that to somebody and just really make their day? It was really sweet that she did that, and I really feel like we could do more of that for each other, to each other, however you want to lay that out. So that's my little story for today. It actually kind of plays into the Human Design Energy Report. We're in gate 22. I can't remember the line. I can remember the line or the gate. I can never remember both. But anyway, I do remember it was in the sacral chakra, I believe, and it was a lot to do with the drive and that Mars energy, if you will. Did mention it was kind of a sexual energy, but when I hear sexual energy, I don't necessarily look at it as the traditional, what we would think of that, in the way of that. I think of it more as that drive, right? That passion, that wanting to move something forward with passion, right? Again, I think of things more metaphorically than literally, so there's that. But it was a beautiful energy today that she was talking about. Christine Strong, the Daily Human Design Energy Report. Go check that out. But if you can make someone's day today, why not? Go tell them they have a beautiful smile, beautiful hair. I don't know. They make your day. Be grateful for them. Whatever. Find something. There's something you can say about everybody, right? Anyway, that's your PSA for today. Let's see what the energies are for today. We've got the Magician in the reverse. Interesting, guys. Interesting. Because we had the Magician in the upright yesterday. So is your manifestation slowing down? Well, we did have the full moon. That energy should be dissipating for the most part about now. And, things should be kind of getting back to normal here. So I feel like maybe this is a bit scattered. Just getting those energies back to normal, right? Coming out of that full moon can sometimes feel a little scattered. And it even looks scattered from this direction. I see this, yesterday I saw it as Nemo, but I watched that movie Beetlejuice recently, and it reminds me of, do you remember when they would walk outside the house, and they were like in this desert, and there was this big, sandworm looking thing? That's what that reminds me of now, looking at it from this perspective. The other thing too is I see that the swords are on top, like she's buried under her thoughts, a clutter of thoughts maybe, a chaos of thoughts. And the wands, the fish are swimming up. I don't know about that. I have to think about that little goldfish there. Excuse me. So, yeah. Anyway. I'm just trying to see what else I see in the card. Her hands are receiving from the top down. Instead of her infusing the energy from the top down, she's receiving it from that ball of magic, which could be the sun. It could be, I don't know, I see it as a ball of magic. And is it controlling her? Is she controlling it? And a lot of times when these cards are in reverse, it could mean that the energy is controlling you instead of you controlling the energy. And if you think about what the Magician does, she can manipulate energy. Not manipulate it. I shouldn't say manipulate it, but she can feel it, read it, feel it, and flow with it and work with it. And maybe she's working against it this time. Maybe it's not working the way she expects. But either way, interesting that we got the first energy of the day to be the reverse of yesterday. So watch your resources, guys. Watch your resources. Watch your energy. Keep it, bring it in. You know, maybe that's reverse times. Sometimes I read reversals as you need to keep your energy close to you. So maybe it's about not sharing your energy as much. Maybe you're being a little too free with that energy. Either way, be mindful of it. Can I get messages for today? We had a bunch fall on the floor, so I'm just gonna pick those up. Actually, we had two, one in reverse and one upright. And we got the Ten of Swords in reverse. That is a serious Ten of Swords card. Look at that. I mean, that merman is just, he's done. And is that a mermaid? A merman? Who did that? And it looks like his spirit, his soul is ascending to heaven, right? Because he's been killed. But we do have this in the reverse. So I feel like the swords are falling out instead of falling in, right? Releasing those burdens, those not burdens. Hey guys. Excuse me. My goodness. I think my son put some cologne on this morning before he left. Whew. It is getting to me. All right. I feel like this is he's recovering, right? He's recovering. The swords are falling out. And, you know, it's like as above, so below. He's going to get up. He's going to rise up. What's that Maya Angelou poem? Just, I don't know, just jumped in my head for some reason with the rise up. But, you know, everything's backwards in this card. And the Ten of Swords, where you're feeling beat up, you're feeling like you are out of resources and your thoughts are controlling everything and you're killing yourself in your head. This is relief from that. You know, this is putting those thoughts to rest, putting those words to rest, saying words with love, and not being so keeping the score kind of energy, not so reactive, right? Not so reactive. Maybe a little more responding than reacting on that one. I did see the higher self, the soul, if you will. Looked really cold to me. And if you think about this, I learned this actually in group last week. For anxiety, people, patients, whatever, if you have anxiety, one way to calm yourself down really quick is to go and wash your hands or splash your face with ice cold water. That can bring your energy back in, calm it down. It kind of stops your heart for a minute. You know, that initial blast of cold, it just kind of is a shock, right? And it will slow your heart down. And if you think about anxiety, you know how your heart's racing. That blast of cold water will bring it down. The other thing, like you guys know, I talk about blasting cold water at the end of your shower. You know, there's something to that. I don't know. There's just something to that. Even on days when I shower at night and I get up in the morning and just kind of get ready, I'll still take ice cold water and kind of like, I guess you would, I wouldn't say I like pour it over my head, but I get my hair wet, you know, to fix it in the morning. And I use ice cold water to do that. There's something with that ice cold water. And I feel like that's what that's saying. You know, your higher self is telling you sometimes take that shock of cold water, take that shock, and it will bring you out of that Ten of Swords anxiety type energy. And that might be what you need, that blast of cold. Okay. And we got the King of Pentacles. We talked about him yesterday when we got the King of Cups. Do you remember? I was saying that the King of Pentacles made sure that the kingdom had what they need for resources. He looks very stoic here. Very stoic. He's covering his heart. So he's a little more logical. He's a little more grounded, a little more earthy. You know, he's got the flowers in his hair up here. He's the one that knows how to get the kingdom what they need, regardless of their finances. Okay, maybe he knows somebody who knows how to plant a garden. He knows somebody who knows how to build a house. He knows somebody who knows how to, I don't know, put in a septic tank. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. But he's not reliant only on money. He realizes, he's got that mature energy. He realizes that resources is way more than just money. Like we talked about a while back. Money's just the middleman. It helps you trade one service for another, or one service for a product, or one product for another. You know, the money is just the middleman. He's kind of a waste of time. He can be removed. What is that saying? I just got that saying in my head from that movie, The Usual Suspects. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world he didn't exist. I don't know why that popped in my head. But I feel like that could be related to money, right? Kind of backwards, you know, that the greatest trick ever played on the human race was that money was the absolute end-all be-all necessity. It's really not, you guys. It's really not. I mean, if you look at it from a very academic, logical perspective, it literally is the middleman. But anyway, he's practical, right? He uses his assets wisely. He's mastered how to make $1 out of 99 cents. And that's that mature, logical energy. So make sure throughout the day that you're using your resources wisely. And your resources could be your time and your energy. You know, make sure that you guys are doing things that fall in line with your goal for the day. You know, we have these big goals, we have small goals. The only way to accomplish a big goal is with a small goal. Right? A bunch of little small measurable goals will lead you to the big goal. So what's your goal for today? You know, what is your goal for today? And are you making decisions that are small steps in the direction of that goal? So make sure you're doing that. Tell me about this King of Pentacles. Tell me about the King of Pentacles. Okay. The Fool in reverse. Okay, well, I like this Fool specifically because her resources are in front of her instead of behind her. She's coming out of emotion onto land. You know, this is Ariel, basically a blonde Ariel. She wants to live on land. She wants to try something new. She's not looking at the land. She's looking up. You know, and traditionally in the Rider-Waite, it would be a male character looking down with a dog at his feet. Now, it's a wave at her feet. So I feel like this wave is pushing her forward. You know, the dog in the regular one looks like he's warning the Fool. He's trying to pull him back and keep him from danger. But this one looks like the wave is pushing her forward onto dry land, onto the new adventures, into a new world, if you will. But we've got her in the reverse. So what are you afraid to start? Are you afraid of something new? Are you afraid of the uncomfortable? Right? Maybe you're unprepared for this new adventure. Maybe you haven't considered all of the resources. Maybe you're thinking, I can't do that. I can't afford it. Well, can you get it done another way? This new adventure. For example, I had been talking about going back to school for a while, and then all of a sudden New Mexico comes out with this opportunity scholarship where school is free. So the universe found a way to give me what I wanted without me having to use money. You know, that's kind of a lucky, I guess you could say luck. I don't know if I would call it luck personally, but, you know, that's manifestation, guys. That's putting the intention out there and waiting for the opportunity, literally the opportunity scholarship, waiting for that opportunity to come to you. You know, you make the wish, you put your desires into the vortex, but then you've got to move forward. You've got to do something, right? You can't just sit still and wait for it to come to you. You can't be apathetic about it. You know, I thought about going to school before I actually moved to New Mexico. And I don't know if some of you might know the story of how I got here, but I didn't want to come here at first. And it took me, I don't know, a year before I really embraced this state as my home. And, you know, it was then that the Opportunity Scholarship presented itself, and I ended up going back to school. So don't not do anything. You know, you can't sit on the couch and expect the love of your life to knock on the door. Although I guess if it's a mailman, maybe. I don't know. Never say never, right? But you do have to put in the energy, the intention. I heard something this morning. It was on Lewis Howe. I listen to him once in a while, and he had Jay Shetty on there. Jay Shetty is an amazing speaker. If you guys have not heard of him before, definitely go look him up. But he was saying that he thought the biggest lie in the world was you find love when you're not looking for it. And I thought, well, that's a weird, I don't know, theory to argue, right? And he said, well, so he explained it further. He said, it's not that you don't find love when you're not looking for it, because even Lewis Howe, he's like, well, you know, I met my girlfriend when I wasn't looking for a relationship. You know, I was working on myself. I was working on figuring out how to love myself and doing my self-work. And Jay Shetty said, exactly. You still were putting the intention of love out there. You were still practicing love. You were still focused on love of self. You still put the energy and the intention out there. It just came back to you in the box you didn't expect, right? He didn't say it that way, with the box that you expect. Those are my words. But either way, the point being, you know, what are you putting your intentions into? Because you're manifesting with those intentions. You know, if you're putting time and energy into your own personal growth, and you're loving yourself, and you're doing all this stuff for the betterment of yourself, you know, like we saw yesterday with the King of Cups, people are going to be attracted to you. You're going to attract that love in. But it's not because of you know, you're not going to find love because you're not looking for it, blah, blah, blah. You're focused on love. So love is what's in the vortex, and it gets delivered back to you like a boomerang, if you will. So, interesting. So don't be apathetic, guys. Just don't be apathetic. Put your intentions out there and flow with the energy. You know, if you're looking for love, flow with love. Make sure you're loving yourself. Make sure you're loving what you do. Oh my God, seriously? You cannot make this shit up, you guys. Sorry, I swore again. Damn it. The Lovers. In this particular deck, I absolutely adore this Lovers card simply because she's looking at herself in a mirror, right? And oh, hi Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass. You made an appearance again today. Appreciate you and love you. But you know, in traditional Lovers card, it would be two people, a man and a woman, you know, falling in love. This one, she's looking at herself, and I just adore that. She's the mermaid, sees her future self, maybe the one that's on land, right? She wanted to be on land, to live on land, looking back at herself and loving and appreciating herself, you know, and she's in sync with herself. She's holding hands. She's showing her palm. They're showing their palms to each other and pressing palms to prove, I mean you no harm. You know, that's the traditional sign for I mean you no harm. And speaking of sign, I don't know, something about sign language this morning, but if that means anything to anybody. It's the absolute love of self, you guys. And it is the number 6 card. We talked the other day about the number 6 meaning love, right? And it's a major life lesson. You've got 2 major arcana, 3 major arcana again. So, you know, you kind of step backwards a little bit. You had the Magician in reverse, you had the Fool in reverse, but then you jumped up to the love of self in the upright, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Remember to love yourself, guys. Just remember to love yourself, okay? And then we got the 5 of Swords in reverse. If there ever was a card I wanted in reverse, it would be the 5 of Swords. We talked about this, I think, the other day too. But the 5 of Swords in the upright, you see how he's cut his own palm. He hurt himself, right? They're all playing with swords. What are children playing with swords? I mean, they look like children, little more children, right? Why are they playing with the swords? They're going to get hurt. And swords are thoughts, and swords are words. Are you playing with the words and getting hurt? But it's in the reverse. And I absolutely love that, because the 5 of Swords in reverse literally is, it's a fair fight, right? It's peace after the trouble. It's the recovery after getting hurt. It's understanding that it's all in your head. You know, that maybe you said something, you thought something. Maybe it's even that you thought, you understood that you manifested it. And now that you understand it, now that you have an awareness of it, you guys, it makes it easier to undo, to unravel, right? It makes it so that you can, I want you to be able to see all these, so that you have control over it. You know, ultimately that's what you're not looking for, but like when you have control over it, then you are able to fix it, right? Control comes from accountability. Bottom line, control comes from accountability. If you don't take the accountability for what it is, then you've put all of the blame in someone else's hands. You've put all of the accountability for the situation in their hands. Then you're waiting for them to fix it. You can't control it. If you take your piece of the pie, you know, your piece of the responsibility pie, then you can decide how to change it because you have control over yourself. You cannot control other people, guys. We all have free will. It just is. Like, it just is. So being able to, put those thoughts to bed and put that chaos to bed, and, it's peace. You had all these troubling thoughts, and now you're at peace with the thoughts. So beautiful energy. Make sure you're peaceful to yourself, to others. Love yourself. Don't be apathetic. Know that you have the resources you need. It's not just all about money. Let's see. We got a lot of swords energy today with that 10 of swords in reverse and the 5 of swords in reverse. I mean, 2 of the worst swords cards out there, and you got them both in the reverse, which is beautiful. Yeah. Keep your energy close, I feel like, that with that Magician and the Fool. Understand that you could be blocking your own new beginning with whatever thoughts you're manifesting, right? Whatever thoughts you're manifesting. So I feel like I'm just babbling now. So I'm going to leave the tarot portion there. And we're going to pull a mermaid card to get some advice for the day. I mean, a mermaid oracle card. So, Spirit, Source, God, Creator, Universe, can I get some advice for today? Can I get some advice for today? Advice for today, please. Advice for today. There's a few cards in there. Oh, there's 2. We'll take 2. They fell this way. We got abundance. I don't read reversals on these. Go with the flow and abundance. We talked about that in the Magician, right? Go with the flow. I mean, literally just let the river take you. I mean, look at the magic in these cards. It just looks like magic to me, although it's fish. She's just letting things flow around her, through her, and rolling with it, right? Just rolling with it. I'm thinking there's a story that Esther Hicks talks about where, your manifestations, if you're floating down the river, and you're paddling upstream, you're going to expend your energy, you're going to exhaust yourself, and you're fighting the current, right? And if you think about the current as the present, like the current time, interesting. Anyway, fighting the current, and you're going to exhaust yourself at some point. You're going to have to stop fighting it, right? That surrender moment, and then you just kind of flip over on your back and you go with the flow. And that's when everything falls into place, guys. When you give up that control of trying to flow upstream, to swim upstream, if you will. And then you get abundance. I mean, literally everything, your wishes come true. That's when the manifestation, that's the energy that you need to be in for the manifestations to come to fruition, right? You start to see the treasures and the blessings, and it might not be in the box you expect, right? It might not. And it will overflow. You will overflow with abundance. Look at all the schools of fish. Schools, that's funny. Sorry. Go with the flow and find your abundance that way. I'm going to put this up here so you guys can see it. And there we go. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I trust it's already unfolding beautifully. And we will talk in a minute. Love and light. Hey guys, how's it going? So, watch the video. Got a few different kind of weird things today with my little reading of the reading. There was words that I repeated twice before. So I said like golden goldfish, and then I said ice cold. So this is gonna make sense later, but keep in mind, you know, those repeating words. So there was kind of a theme today of words that sound the same but mean different. Okay, so those are called homophones. There was several of them today. I talked about being in school, you know, academically, and then I talked about a school of fish. I talked about seeing things, and then I said something about being under the sea. I talked about the current of the river, and then I talked about the current time. And then I talked about a piece of the pie, and then finding your piece. So by virtue of the fact that I use so many homophones today, I feel like maybe sometimes when we hear those words, we don't necessarily hear them the way they were intended. They could mean something different. And we've kind of had a theme of that going for a few days now where, you know, be mindful of your words. So I think that's kind of the message. Be mindful of your words. We talked about, I said, feel, read, and feel the energy. So again, I repeated it. Feel, think about what feel means. I don't know. Feel, fall, who knows? Anyway. The number that was present today was 2. Many times. We were in gate 22. 2 cards fell when I was pulling the cards for the tarot. 2 cards in the oracle fell on the ground. And again, with the fell, feeling, falling, feeling, felling, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, fell. Fell was a thing. Things falling down. And in fact, I think even in the magician card, I said the magic was falling into her hands, right? Magic was falling into her hands. So something about falling, maybe the fall, maybe the, you know, think about, that's another homophone. So the fall season, and then fall, like to fall to the earth or whatever. And then we had 2 sword cards were in reverse. And of course, you know, just the fact that the homophone words, there's always 2 meanings, right? So a lot of 2s today, a lot of 2s. So I actually looked it up. I have this little numerology card. 2s to me always mean balance and decisions. But in this numerology card, the quality of the number 2 is duality. It's division. It's very feminine energy, yin energy. It means truth, beauty, and the unconscious. So, you know, that to me, I guess, I don't know, duality, division, feminine, loving yourself. You know, there was a song I got in my head this morning, the Grateful Dead song, The Women Are Smarter. Sorry, guys. Sorry, literally, guys. Sorry. I don't really think women are smarter, but I do think that the feminine energy will be your, well, it would be an advantage to be in your feminine energy today. So the feminine energy, that receiving energy, and even we talked about not being apathetic. We talked about not sitting on the couch waiting for somebody to come along, but really your feminine energy, that's what that is, right? You kind of just sit there and wait and let things happen. As you know, you put things in the vortex, you've got to give them time to come back. So that feminine energy. We talked about Maya Angelou, that poem Rise Up. I don't know that I've ever actually read the entire thing. In fact, I think I just saw it recently. So I will go read that here soon. A card tipped over when I said the word reactive, you know, being reactive, on the 10 of Swords. The card tipped as I was trying to put it up. So are you being too reactive, right? Again, think about that feminine energy. It's not reactive, it's receiving. You know, your right side would be your action side, reactions, reactive. And that brings me to the next thing, which is, you know, to react. Like if you put the hyphen in there, it would be take two, right? Take two. And the Fool in reverse, I feel like that could be maybe you're doing it again, right? Take two. The two words, golden goldfish, ice cold. You're repeating, you know, it's take two. I said not in the box. You know, you don't get it in the box that you expect. I said that twice. Again with the two. Let's see, what else? Resources. So I talked about resources being, you know, money, energy, time, and whatnot. But if you think about it, I was talking a lot about school and academics today. What is a resource at school? It's books. Those are your resources at school. Your teachers, your tutors, your fellow students, your, you know, how do you learn, guys? There's more than one way to learn, more than one box that you expect. You can go to school. Everything is a learning opportunity. And I even said opportunity scholarship. I mean, literally the scholarship in New Mexico is named the Opportunity Scholarship. So opportunities to learn are there. I think that's what that means. And then I mentioned the state of New Mexico that I live in, which I don't often mention. I usually say Albuquerque. So, you know, what is new? You know, there's Mexico and there's New Mexico. I think it's funny, actually. Growing up, my parents were from New Mexico and I grew up in Connecticut. I would tell people my parents are from New Mexico and they're like, so they're not citizens. Like most people not from New Mexico hear New Mexico and they think it is Mexico. So they think it's not part of the United States. It's actually quite funny to me. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something in that for you. The dogs barked when I said this state as my home. And again, with the homophone, the state, you know, the state of New Mexico, or the state that you're in. You know, this state is my home. This piece is my home. And we talked about peace and peace, right? Peace of the responsibility pie, and then finding your peace. So peace being my home, that state of peace is where I'm finding I'm at home. And, you know, I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Signs and sign language. Sign language, I'm actually taking that next semester in school. I don't know what the sign language reference, our theme for today was, but signs, you know, signs are everywhere. I guess even in homophones, right, you've got to use the context, so it's a sign of what meaning that word has. So pay attention to the signs. What else? I said a blast of cold water, right? So a blast. There was a lot of blasts today. So I feel like that's going to be like a blast of knowledge, a blast of information, a blast of energy. You know, when you think about our energy, I did say you could feel it and read it and feel it, but you can see it too. You know, you can see it in micro expressions on people's faces. You can see emotions change. You know, some people are naturally gifted to be able to see and recognize those things, but you can train yourself. You know, you can go to school. You can learn how to read emotions, how to read body language, how to read sign language. And then think about that. That's a language that you speak. That's nonverbal. Sign language, I don't know if you would consider that nonverbal. I guess you could argue that, but you can't hear it either way. You have to see it. Under the sea, right? Our theme for our cards lately is under the sea. So what's beneath the surface? You know, beneath the surface is our subconscious. It's that superconscious. It's those things we don't show. You know, even in our astrology signs, our moon sign and our ascendant sign, that's what's beneath the surface of what you're presenting to the world. Sorry, I couldn't think there for a minute. And as I say that, my dog barks. And then, you know, think about that word too, present or present. Stay in the present. How are you presenting yourself? So think about those homophones today. They seem to be a big thing. And with the twos, The couple movies I mentioned today, Beetlejuice and The Usual Suspects. I mean, I don't know what the and a random quote from The Usual Suspects. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world he didn't exist. I don't know. I've been trying to solve that riddle for years, guys. If you have any ideas about that, let me know. But Beetlejuice, think about what Beetlejuice, what was the premise of that? You know, it wasn't until they accepted the Dietzes as the family in the home that everybody was happy, right? And it took them fighting against Beetlejuice as a team to become friends, to become, you know, what is that saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that. So think about that, you know, what alliances are in there. The names I mentioned today: Jay, Lewis, Esther, and Alice. Of course, Alice, the one who had to make an appearance. And I think, did I mention another name? Maya Angelou. So, I don't know. I feel like Jay, Lewis, Esther, and Alice were the ones that kind of were the significant names in that one. So, and then something about the cold, you know, being left out in the cold, maybe. But that cold shock, you know, shock your heart, bring your anxiety down. I don't know, something with the cold, and the fall. So maybe I'm feeling seasons in that. So maybe some manifestations coming in the fall and the winter. Something to that. Anyway, guys, this was kind of a long little explanation. That was kind of a paradox, but that's okay. Anywho, you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope these messages help. I hope you guys like the explanations at the end. I kind of like doing them. I guess I kind of did them all the time anyway, and it's just nice to be able to share it with you. And so you beautiful people with your beautiful smiles, go on about your day, and I trust it will unfold magically for you. And we'll talk soon. Much love and light.